What up, what up? This is Matt James, all the way from Canada. How's she going, eh? And you're listening to Furious on Deeper Than Music.
Deeper than music. The core of you, the fans, the truth is deeper than music. Deeper than music. Simply the truth is the latest, the newest. It's deeper than music. Deeper than music. The core of you, the fans, the truth is deeper than music. Deeper than music. Simply the truth is the latest, the newest. It's deeper than music. Deeper than music.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Furious, Deeper Than Music Radio. Behind every great song, there's an even greater story. On this hot Saturday, we just interviewed Jessica Rose all the way from Ireland. And now we got a person that's been very influential in my music career. A person that has been down since day one when I first started in the music scene. Gave me my first opportunity to rock mics in San Diego when I was part of a collective called Secrets of Society Records. I always believe in keeping people that inspire you to grow in your team. My mom always told me to hang out with people that are at or above your level. He rocked with me back in 2000. We never lost touch. A brother that's doing his thing in San Diego and helping others. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Dkompose.
Yo, what up, what up?
What's up, D?
How you been, baby man? Boy, what's good? I'm good, Furious.
Nothing, man. We making it do what we do. And also, if you guys listen to our first two albums, Still Standing and Standing Alone, hip hop, the only one I need, Dkompose, is on that song as well. And he's making moves.
Yeah.
This guy has been very influential in the San Diego hip hop scene. I mean, there's nothing this man doesn't do. He helps others like myself, Bloodstone, Princess. And he just keeping it rocking, representing pure hip hop in the San Diego scene. So, D, my first question for people out here in internet land: who is Dkompose and what is your sound? What does Dkompose represent?
Oh man, I'm coming at all angles, baby. Dkompose stands for dangerous when I'm composing them lyrics because it's funky like a dead body. And you know, man, I'm just wanting to give the fans, the hip-hop fans, the hip-hop underground, you know, some new music, man, some good music, some positive bars, man. I mean, you hear a lot of cuss music now, and I'm not, how can I say it? I don't really fault anybody's game, but you can still have a hardcore message without using the profanity. But, you know, profanity is your thing. That's on you. You know, I'm just staying in my lane, making a lot of fans happy with the joints that I'm throwing down. You know, just continue giving good music, man, and especially with the trash you hear today.
Yeah, and there's a lot. And I like to tell people, Dkompose is also he's a hip hop artist, but he's also works in the D, tell him your profession, man, outside of hip hop.
Okay, well, I went to mortuary college, man. I started in the funeral profession at age 12. And from there, there was two things I always wanted to do in life. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be a mortician. Music is my life, but I also use the tool far as being a licensed mortician to fund myself to do the music. And I had a lot of the major deals. I fooled with my first major deal was Toby Records while I was still working at funeral homes. And then, you know, started traveling, started doing my thing, but only to get shelved, recorded and got shelved. So, you know, when you're out there, man, I really wanted to start sticking with the underground hip hop. But at the same time, you know, got to feed your family.
Yep.
So I did what I needed to do. I went to mortuary college. I already knew the business. I went in and I graduated college. Class in 1994, Cypress College of Mortuary Science up in L.A. I lived in L.A. for 3 years. I was on the circuit in Hollywood, man, did a lot of shows, bumped into a lot of, you know, heads that are out there now on wax still doing their thing and you know, good friends that I still keep in contact with. But the funeral profession is really what took me to the next level to you know, to feed my family, to put the money into my resources for my music, to record, to start the record label, to do the management company. So right now I'm full speed ahead with the label, with the management company, because I don't really practice in the funeral profession anymore like I used to, but I do keep my continuing education up with the licenses. And I will come out and I will do prepare the remains of family members, friends, if they request me. And I do get a lot of requests, so I don't turn that down. It's just a blessing and an honor to do the things that I need to do with the craft that the Lord has given me.
And I think with people, and we were talking about this earlier, people get short-sighted, and you have to be multifaceted, especially now. But one thing that I want to bring, and I always found this interesting, you did a song a long time ago that I always remember, Bass in Your Face, and you talked about, like, look, I've seen, especially when we talking about this gangster rap, like I watched something about some guy get shot. We talked about that extension. You were like, look, I see the end result of the power of the spoken word, and when you're talking about death and spirits, I see the end result, like Bass in Your Face, like this gangster life. I see the end. Like I'm the one preparing you when it's time to go, and that always stood out in my mind. Like you've seen the death side and how it affects families, and how that lifestyle is not going to be, forever. So how long have you been in the game, and what is your resume? I know your resume is lengthy, man. Can you give us a rundown on the history of Dkompose and his hip hop career?
Sure will, man. You want to start on the funeral profession side, and then the resume going into the hip hop world?
Yes.
Okay. I started out at age 12. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, and I was also raised up in Pittsburgh. But Dayton, like I said, is my place of birth. And if you didn't see me in Dayton, you saw me in Pittsburgh. So from there, I was age 12. I worked at a funeral home back in Dayton by the name of Bowman Funeral Chapel. That's where I got my first start. And I worked on Saturdays. And it's so funny, man, because on Saturdays, it was real big to me, man. I was making $5 a Saturday, which is nothing, but it meant a lot to me. So from there, man, I worked with that company for 6 years, from 1980 until I graduated high school in 1986. Then from there, I moved to this other funeral home called Thomas Funeral Home. And I was just doing my music. I was back and forth. I was in a group called Unique Cut, and we dominated all Ohio, man. We was in Ohio, California. We just dominated. That's how I got out here, because I was on tour. But at the same time, I'm jumping back and forth, so I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. But from Bowman Funeral Chapel to Thomas Funeral Home, and these funeral homes didn't want to keep me on, because when I was showing interest that I really wanted to be part of your team, you took me for granted. You didn't want to keep me on, but I'm very appreciative from learning the skills that you showed me about professionalism, dealing with families, dealing with the body in general, how to prepare it, how to do this, so on and so forth and whatnot. Then from there, when I left the city to go on tour with the group, my manager, he told us this. He said, look, man, I want you guys to be humble, and I want y'all to stay focused. And when you're not gigging, I suggest you get a job. So being a mortician, you can travel anywhere in the world and do your art. And like I said, I'm a drummer, so I wasn't really making much money with these bands, so I continued doing what I needed to do. So I worked at another company where I really got my hands dirty in San Diego, California, by the name of Anderson Ragsdale Mortuary. And speaking of that, God rest the soul of one of my mentors who worked there, who just died in March, and he was the owner, Hartwell W. Ragsdale III, and his father, died before him, but he died in March. So I want to just give a special blessing to him, because he taught me a lot. So from there, I got my hands polished out there and learned a lot that I did. I learned more in San Diego than I did in Dayton. But Dayton was the foundation. So from there, once I left and went to Mortuary College up in L.A., I worked at a big company called Forest Lawn Hollywood Hills, and I did a lot of celebrities, man. I
Yeah, I
embalmed.
think isn't that where Michael Jackson is, right? In Forest
Yeah,
Lawn.
Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's up Forest Lawn in Glendale, but Hollywood Hills did the preparation work. So I worked with a Forest Lawn in the '90s, and I prepared the remains of the comedian Sam Kinison. I did him. I did Barry Gordy's brother. I did one of the Supremes. I embalmed her. I did just a lot of. I even prepared Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek. So I had my hands real full with that, man. I met a lot of celebrities, did a lot of work with them, was doing music, did a lot of showcases, had a lot of companies looking at me. So I was back and forth, man, and it was just something I always asked God to grant me the wish to do. And I was doing the music, got signed, came close to some deals with Warner Brother Records. I was up at Giant Records, dealing with them, Profile. I was even dealing with Capitol Records at one time. But the thing about the business is it's cool to record, but when you get shelved, you're a tax write-off.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's, and then that's what pulled me even closer to just do underground. But I did sign with another label out there. It was called Ashani International Records, and big up to my producer back then. He's from Ghana, Africa, but he's in L.A. now. He moved back. His name is Kofi. He goes by the name of Nana King, and he's real hip hop as far as dance hall. I'm sorry, he's dance hall, and he had his label Ashani International Records, and he did a major distribution deal with Solar. So I was under the Solar umbrella again with Ashani.
And I hate to interrupt, but Solar is where Dre initially, when they was shopping Death Row Records, Solar picked them up, and then the whole. So you're like in the circle, like you said, with greats.
Right.
I just wanted to point that out. And Giant was a big record label back in the '90s, and so was Profile. Profile. DJ Quick was under Profile Records before it folded. So just wanted to break out to people that you're around a lot of heavy hitters. So I didn't mean to interrupt.
Man.
Just
no, it's all good, baby, and I'm glad you broke that down. And you're right, because the label that I signed when I signed with Solar, this is when we signed up in Columbus, Ohio. It was a label up there called Mainway Records, and them cats who gave us our start was William Pablo Davis and Maurice Alfred, and they were managing the deal. We were on the label with them.
So that's L.A. Reid, Babyface.
Face, yep. We were on, and Babyface had his solo artist deal with the company we were signed to. So, but they were also managing him. So they were managing us. They were managing the deal. They were managing Midnight Star. They were managing Babyface. Then it was a hip hop group out of Cleveland, Ohio, called the Tall Boys. They were a spinoff like the Fat Boys. So we were all under this conglomerate. And, man, you just learn the business as you go, man. You kids starting out, we were old enough to know better, but we were just so excited to sign this deal. And when we signed the deal, me and my partner, and, shout out to him, he went by the name of Dr. Ease, Daryl Easley. So we signed. His mother was at the table. My mother was at the table when we put the pen to the pad to sign. So we were excited. But, man, I'm going to tell you something, Furious. People always, and I'm sure you talk to the up and comings as well, because sometimes they don't want to listen. But everything you see is everything that glitter is not gold, man. We did a show, okay? We had a big show in Columbus, Ohio. Yet and still, we think we getting real paid. Real big money from this gig. Just because there was thousands on the table don't mean we were getting the thousands. After the pie was cut in half and broken down, to the producer who produced our track, the company who managed us, named Glow Management, and paying studio fees and everything else. When we got our money, me and Dr. Ease left Columbus, Ohio, on our way back to Dayton after the show was over with $40 in our pocket.
Yeah, and it's called
$40.
I tell people it's music business. You have to know the music and you have to know the business. And I
There
like
you go.
a lot of people, you know, when I've been in this music thing for a while, you know, why are you, you know, you have to cut the pieces of the pie. And I'm all about why one of my friends told me a long time ago,
Right.
why not don't chase the light, become that light.
That's
Make
right.
your own movement. And like you said, when you underground, I remember when we first met and I explained to you, like when we had Secret Society Records, like we do X, Y,
Right.
and Z, we reduce the overhead. But when you involve other people,
Right.
you're getting to
right.
cut a piece of the pie. And what people don't realize is the artist is the last person to get paid. An advance,
That's right.
An advance is a loan. They give you an
That's
advance.
right.
That's a
That's
loan.
right.
The
That's
record
right.
label is going to recoup their money. After they recoup your money, you're going to
yeah.
get paid. And
Oh, yeah.
people don't understand that. And the funny thing that I for me, which is funny to me about the music, especially urban music, like let's talk about 2000, the Hot Boys, everybody
Right.
buying cars, everybody rapping about money. Where's the Cash Money artists now? Bad Boy, flashy money.
Right.
Where's the money now, man? When you get in there, the one thing I tell people is your publishing is your lifeline.
That's your life. And see, and I'm so glad you touched that. I had publishing with ASCAP, and one of the publishing companies is called Daddy's Babies Music, and the other one, when I'm writing, it's called Russell Alexander Pryor Sr. So I have one for the music, one for lyrical content. And the thing about it is, artists get so deceived, especially you rookies that's in the game. And I'm going to tell you this, man, it takes a veteran to guide the rookies by the hand so they can become veterans.
Yep.
And a lot of you cats, you get hothead when the vets try to break it down. And the vets are not going anywhere, man. You know what they did? And with Run DMC, myself, you, and everybody else under the sun that are vets in the game, we just sat back. We never left the game. We just sat back just to see which direction hip-hop was going to go with this new millennium.
Yeah.
This is your era, but this is what I tell folks. We may be in your era, but this is still our generation, because there's no young person that can run the White House. You're going to always need veterans around to watch if a young person gets in the White House and run it. And just like with anything, like CEO of companies, even though there's a young person running these companies, there's always the veterans making sure he's doing it correctly. So the ball has never been dropped. And there's a lot of vets that just sat back, listened to the game. Now they're getting ready to come and take over. So a lot of people's hip hop keys to the house, they're getting ready to be evicted. Because it's some eviction. And I'm going to tell you something, man. It's like, I wish and I hope, and I know your show is doing, this is a beautiful platform. I hope every record label that's listening right now hear this. Please, please, please get back to letting people mail in demos. That's how you shut down whack MCs, dog. That's how you shut them down.
And that's the challenge now. And no disrespect to anybody. Like I'm not a person to shut down anybody's dream. I want to nurture people's dreams.
Right.
But some people, everybody doesn't need to be a rapper. Everybody cannot be it's an art form to it. And right now, the everything is cluttered. And now, and I tell people, if you master marketing, you mastered it. And I'm gonna be honest with this. And a lot of a friend of mine that I used to work with, he transitioned to being an artist, to doing, now he licenses his music to MTV. Now he does film, and he always told me he wasn't the best rapper, but he always told me, man, it's 20% talent and 80% drive. No disrespect to Master P, but he speaks to that. This man, his drive, and this is what a lot of artists have. This is one thing that I have a problem with artists. Just because you have talent, you're not, without that drive, you're not going to get anywhere. Master P is the perfect example of that 80% drive, 20% talent. This man had the world saying, nah, 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 nah. You know
That's
what
right.
I mean?
That's
Like,
right. That's his trademark. And I'm glad you said that, man. And then, it's like when people mail me in demos to Graveyard Recordings, and I listen to each lyric. I listen to the beat. I listen to your bar delivery, and just, and I'm not, no disrespect. And then letters do go out, and it's not, I don't call them rejection letters. I call them educational letters. just because I don't want to use your music at that point in time, but I still encourage you to continue to mail them demos into me. I have a policy, man. I love taking unsolicited material because those are your diamonds in the rough. But when you mail me something, man, have your package professional. Don't send me no Polaroid pictures. Don't send me, don't write out your bio. Type it, man. Put forth the effort to put little something into your music.
Yeah.
And I want to touch again because I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to touch around when you was talking about where are these artists right now, like with Bad Boy and so on and so forth. They're nowhere. Shine got deported back to where was it? Belize.
Belize.
Yeah, but see, when he got deported back to Belize, man, I knew his career was going to be over because United States hip hop is stronger. We have the resources over here, but at the same time, there's no labels overseas that was bigger than what he was on Big Boy, and he's not doing any shows. He can't come back to the States.
Yeah, he's done as far as the
He's
States.
done, man. And then as far as the publishing, I don't even think he had his own publishing.
He didn't.
Puffy had that. Yeah.
I read a whole bunch of stories on Bad Boy, and it speaks on music business. It's music, and you have to know business. Hey, D, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
But we'll get right back to it. I'm going to cue up Gotta Do, and then we'll get back to it here. Mooda Entertainment, Graveyard Recordings, San Diego Powerhouse, Dkompose here on Deeper Than Music Radio.
It's deep, baby.
In life, we all have struggles. We have that moment where we're down, where we feel like it's the end. But in this moment, that's when you got to pick yourself up and you got to find that inner fire, and you got to let it burn within. Never give up, never surrender. You can do it.
Could it all be a dream? Beaming lights, taking flight. One night, the mic device enticed me to bite. What I write, right, it's just a mention in black youth. You could do anything, dream big. Witness this grinding. Blind faith, my escape. Sound waves had to pave the way. Never strayed, lost focus. Bogus dreams up in steam. You clean the mess. Distress when it's wrecked. Perplexed. Next chapter. Fall back in the lab, making drafts of your plans. Mic in hand, competition shivering. Quivering when they see no defeats in your blood. The sport won't afford, conform, change, bring the pain. Standing on your feet, victories, what you see. Playing it with no options of stopping, copping the ground, setting them down. The difference is no giving in. You play to win, to the bloody end.
When you gotta do what you gotta do, never lose your cool, gotta show improve, gotta break on through. When you gotta do what you gotta do, never lose your cool, gotta show improve, gotta break on through. When you gotta do what you gotta do, never lose your cool, gotta show improve, gotta break on through. This is your moment, gotta own it. In your zone is atonement, never clone it.
When it's dark and my heart's ripped apart, that spark, that fire, the flame. Together again, through the rain, energy sustained. Putting rappers to shame, your lane contains lame lyrics. Be ashamed, this game is tame. Sound the same, I reckon perfection's lesson. Question, do you write, recite, bite, like mediocrity?
So right now, that was, we took a little break, Gotta Do in the background. But we're back, Dkompose, Mooda Entertainment.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what brought you to San Diego and the music scene?
What brought me to San Diego, man, I was in the group called Unique Cut. And we were cold, man. We were like the next Run DMC, man. And then my uncle owned the record label out in San Diego. It was called Toby Records. And his management company now is Allen Magic Lamp Management. So I'm under his tutelage with other artists. But he was like, hey, look, man, he said, I got a lot of shows that's jumping off because he has the city on lock, man. And he was like from here to El Centro, and then he did some shows back east. He was a big powerhouse with the 70s funk band. So he been in the music business over 40 some odd years, man. So I ran it by my DJ. I ran it by my main man on the mic with me. And I was like, look, I said, Unc want us to come on tour. He wants to get us on the bus and he wants us to head west. So they was like, we're down because even though we had a fan following in our city, we needed to get even bigger, plus make some more money, man. So both of us quit our jobs. Our DJ, at the time, he was out of Philadelphia, but he moved to Dayton. So he rolled with us. So we hit the road. We signed to my uncle's label in San Diego, Toby Records. And, man, I'm going to tell you, we were knocking down stages. We were doing our thing. But when egos start setting, and, you start out as a family unit, man. But when one person is popular than the other person, and you focus more on the women and everything else, and we started getting at each other's throat. And we sat back, man. We was like, yo, we came out of dating, dog. We was tight. And now we don't know each other. So we broke up in San Diego. So the Dr. Ease, he wanted to go back to dating. So I was like, okay. So he took our masters and he went on back to record an album. So I said, well, I'm staying, man. I wanted to stay for a minute and do solo projects. So the DJ went back with him. I stayed out here, doing a solo project. I started recording through Toby Records. And then I got a little homesick because I had a little shorty on the side back in the day. Mm-hmm. And she went to Ohio State. So, I'm 3,000 miles away. You back at OSU. I'm on the West Coast putting out records, man. And thought about one time, I said, because, we were dating and we got involved a little bit. And, when you're a young artist, you feeling some type of way. She's feeling some type of way and you want to get married. But I told her, I was like, you're in college, and she came from a educated family unit. And I said, well, I'm going to work on my music, and your education is more important. I said, so I don't really think we should get married right now. And she was with that because, you want all your ducks in a row, man, before you really start wanting to get married and make sure you can take care of a woman. So I got homesick, so I came back home to Dayton. And, we started kicking it again. She'll come home on the weekends. Then after a while, man, it's like she's benefiting from an education. But what am I doing? Because I wasn't in Mortuary College at the time. But I always wanted to go. And I was up in because I had enrolled at a college down in my city. And then I was getting ready to enroll at the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science, which is a very prestigious school up in the Natty. So I just weighed my options, man. And when I got, even though I was homesick, when I did come back to Dayton and just started looking, things were just different, man. And I wasn't really pulling down no numbers like I wanted to. I went back to this other funeral home that I used to start off at, and he wasn't paying me. And then I would see like some of the employees that he had, they weren't doing nothing with their life, man. They were like at the time, I was like 20-something, going on 30. I was looking at them. They were like 40, 50. Just sitting around, not doing anything, no education, man. They were just collecting the check, and the checks weren't that much. And it's like when you put yourself in a position that you depending on somebody for your livelihood and a salary, that sucks. It's like you being a slave. Mm-hmm. So I was like, nah, man. And so I made a determination, and my mother and my father was like, yo, kid, your music is cool, but you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And you're becoming even a more grown man. You're not going to be living here, and you're not. And my sister was in college, so they were taking care of her. She was getting her education, and she graduated with her master's degree in mental health. So she was, doing her thing, man. And I'm the oldest, and I was like, one thing, you will never ever have a grown man living in his mother and his father's basement. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I made it perfectly clear So I was home when the holidays was getting ready to kick. So Christmas came up, and I told him, I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm selling everything. I sold my car. I gave because I was DJing back then too. I gave all my records away to my cousin. I didn't want to take none of that on the bus. And I told my mother, I said, when the first of the new year come, I'm going to be moving back to San Diego. I'm not going to be coming back like but I'm always back and forth now. But I said, I'm going to make it, but I'm not coming home right away. And she said, that's good. And my father was like, you need to go west because you ain't really doing nothing here. Yeah. And this funeral home is not paying you. So I packed it up, went back again, told my uncle, I said, man, I'm here to stay. I said, let's get the recording going. I'm still your artist. Let's do what we need to do. He said, you still got your job because the funeral home that I work for, they really love me. And they said, if you come back, you're going to always have a gig here. So I went back. I told him I'm on my way back. This is the date. As a matter of fact, Furious, I was on the road because I took the Greyhound bus by myself for 2.5 days. And my uncle was like, yeah, won't you do that instead of flying? Because you can really think and study yourself and be one with yourself and make this where you, if your music is your heart and your career and whatever else you're trying to do, if you really love that, then you need to focus on that. And 2.5 days on the bus will give you a lot of time to think about your direction in life.
Exactly.
So it was just God, the open road, and me sitting in there from city to city to city to city. And I was like, I'm going to make it. I have no choice. I can't back down. I got to do this. So when I came back, man, it was full speed ahead. I was ready to get it on. So
and that led into Mooda Entertainment and Graveyard Recordings. Can you give us a background? What's the flavor? What is Mooda Entertainment and Graveyard Recordings about? And what artists did you have and on deck as well?
Okay, Mooda Entertainment is what I call my daughter. When she was little, she's my oldest. Her name is Cyanica. And I called her Mooda Scoop because when she was born, when she was trying to learn how to crawl, she would crawl backwards. So I said, Mooda Scoop. So I took Mooda, named after her, and just put the entertainment on it. And what Mooda Entertainment is, man, it's a booking management company as well as a film production company. And, I'm in the filming as well. I write a lot of scripts, and I'll get into that a little more later. And Graveyard Recordings was just the independent label that I started in 1999, man, because I got really tired of fooling with the majors, the red tape. And, what really, really, really got in my heart was when I made that $40. And I said, here, this dude making millions off of Mainway Records, and you paying your artists this for shows, and we have to pay for recording, and we getting shelved. So we like a tax write-off because it comes right back in his pocket. So I said, enough of the majors. I'm doing it independently in a major way. Now, I still have ties with the majors. But at the same time, I don't want to fool with the majors because everything that I receive, especially through all my music worldwide on, Spotify and iHeart and all these other, digital outlets, you keep the money to yourself. Now, the artist that I have signed is Joe Black, Dkompose, which is me. I have Elite T. I have Codeine Green. He's out of North Kakalaki. Well, he was from San Diego, but he moved to North Kakalaki. I have Phase I out of Dayton, Ohio. And I said Joe Black. So right now, and my son, man, Russell Jr., he goes by the name of Russie P, but he did some shows with me when I had him on the road. He was going by the name back then, DJ Thunder. And he's cold as ice on the tables, but he put it down for a minute because he was in college. Now he graduated from Point Loma Nazarene University. He said, Dad, I'm back in the game again. I said, yeah, because you got your degree. I was like, and I'm very proud of you because you focus. See, when I was in mortuary college, I almost flunked. I almost failed out, man, because I was gigging too much. And I said, let me put this thing into perspective and study more because I was paying for my college.
Yeah, and then I want to let people know, man, I got to share this story. So back in 2000, I think it was 2000, here I am, a young man, and I had a collective of Navy friends. We decided to do our own movement. I was stationed on the Bonhomme Richard. We had a movement called Secrets of Society Records. Mm-hmm. And we had myself, Big Cheen, Eddie Roman, Don J, and we had a group called Victims of Society. And I remember, man, I don't know how exactly we met, but you gave us a chance, our very first chance in Chula Vista at the Stargazer, and we performed. And then next thing you know, you offered me and you offered our group our first management deal, and you put us on the scene in San Diego, and I'll always be grateful for that because that's when I was just starting. And little did I know, man, you had us doing. We did shows downtown. We did I think it was the first Juneteenth event in San Diego, and I think you Urban Empire magazine. You helped us, and even when, like you said, with egos and things happen, man. Things break down. When that broke down with Secret Society Records, I started standalone music. You still carried a brother. You stayed in my ear, and you helped us set that foundation in San Diego, which led me to go I met Jeanette of Silver Tongue Entertainment,
Yep,
went to the
yep, I
East
remember
Coast,
her. Yep.
but we still kept it going. And I want to say that you were the one that kept it going, and you always kept me encouraged. And it led to, it led to a lot of stuff, man. You were that foot in the door, man, and I appreciate that. And even first mixtape was on you and DJ Tricky T's turntable and the mic. So I'd like to say thank you, man, for taking a chance on me and my dreams.
Man, you made my heart feel good, man, and I appreciate you, man, because I saw the talent in you guys when y'all came. Because when I had started the Graveyard hip hop club. And, because everybody was coming, man. And then, my thing is there's a lot of talent in San Diego compared to what you hear now, compared to back then. The comparison now has no weight on the back then, brothers. And the reason why I say back then, because people are still doing their thing.
Yeah.
You guys, Secrets of Society, I saw something. And I was like, yeah, man, these cats, first of all, the name was Bananas. And I said, okay. So you was like the spokesperson, man. So I was like, you know what, man, my club is every Friday. And I'll do bookings. And I'm not the cat to say go out and sell tickets. And that's what really made me put the club together. Because I don't sell tickets to perform at your spot. No artist should do that.
Yeah.
The person who's promoting the event, go off of mere talent. Your club is still going to make money.
Yep.
Go off the talent because they're going to bring people. And my thing is when you brought your crowd, I will feed your crowd. I had the VIP section set up where I will order food. And I say, you guys, this is for y'all. Everybody come in and eat. And I would have like maybe 4 artists at a time on. I had Secrets of Society. That's when I met Bloodstone, the street preacher, and Princess, the rap messiah. And, to this day, we still tight. But it's a bond, man. And I just appreciate the love that's been given, to me. And I always told you, man, if it's something that I can help you do, then I'm gonna do it, man. And it's not. I'm gonna tell you something, man. When I see people doing their thing, I feel real good, man. And I don't hate, because you block your blessing when you hate, man. Just smile and be happy for that person. There's a lot of stuff in store for me, man, and I've been seeing it, and the underground, I'm telling you about the underground hip hop is off the chain, man. I done collected more fans than just doing the major stuff. Even when I was major, we had fans. But at the same time, man, it's like the underground is where it's at, man. That's where you see the real talent. That's where you see a lot of showmanship, professionalism, and it's not too much hating. But one thing I'm gonna say about San Diego, man, is
I was gonna ask you, man.
Uh-huh.
I know back then San Diego was a hard place to crack, and I even one time me and Gary was talking about how they used to, you go downtown, they had their so-called dress code, but it seemed like it was a form of racism. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I know they didn't really nurture hip hop in San Diego. Is that still the same? And how's the San Diego hip hop scene now?
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you that it's not like that now, because they see all those clubs you just mentioned. Well, you didn't mention, but the ones you say you used to go to with the dress code. It's not like that, because now they see the money that's involved, and see you got a diverse group of people that's really getting into hip hop, and they know it's a moneymaker. Now they got clubs that's downtown in San Diego, man, where they inviting Tigger in. They had Daz and Corrupt. See, the 4th and B is no more.
And you never heard that. So 4th and B is done? Okay.
4th and B is done, man. So everybody has started up new spots. Sound system is bananas. They still got Kane's nightclub. They're doing their thing. They getting Wu-Tang in. They have, spots that you didn't think would bring hip-hop in. They're doing it because they're not discriminating anymore. They know what's money, and they know with the money, people going to come in. They're going to drink. They're going to buy their bars out, and these are things they want to do. That's like I'm saying this, man. Hip hop to me is blind to racism, because 70% of that hip hop, and I'm gonna be honest, 70% of the hip hop is bought by white folks.
Yeah.
Because if we depended on our people to buy us and support us, we'll starve. So the 70, we would, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Would.
Like look at the situation with Dame Dash and
right.
that guy Empire and all that, man. Lee Daniels, he had to.
You Lee Daniels, right?
Had to pressure
right.
him just to get that money back. I know exactly.
Yeah.
Like, we really don't support, which is sad, but
right.
I know what you're saying.
Sad. It's sad, man. And so 70%. My hat goes out to the white folks that support it. 20% is black, Hispanic, and in the last 10% is just any other race, any other cultured ethnicity.
So D, I don't want to cut you off. We got like about 4 minutes left.
Okay.
My last question: we're gonna get you back on with your joints, man. We're gonna get you back on with your songs. I mean, this is just the beginning. What I want to ask you before we go, like, what do you want your legacy to be, man? At the end of the day, like when you're in the hip hop retirement home and Dkompose name came up, what do you want people to remember for your legacy, man? What does D want to be remembered for?
I want people to remember me as saying, man, that dude was a mortician. That dude was a cold MC on the mic. He had two professions that he was juggling. The legacy is dreams don't have deadlines. The legacy is you can do anything you put your mind to. The legacy is Dkompose cared about a lot of people. Dkompose helped a lot of people to get on. I want to be a mortician like him. I also want to do the music and be a drummer. So to sum it all up as a legacy, that brother was a true brother and he loved everybody.
No doubt. No doubt. So we're going to go ahead and where can people find Dkompose? This is shameless promotion, plugs, where you at, where you going to be, all that good stuff.
Okay, you can hit me at the label at graveyardrecordings99.com. You can go there. I have another show. I got just a lot of shows that's coming up. I was just booked way far in advance. You can check me out if you like. I'm on a show coming up September the 15th up in Riverside with a R&B platinum artist, Oscar Snow. So he's going to be rocking and rolling and doing his thing for his new album release. This is his album release party. So it's going to be real big. I just finished doing a show out in Charlotte, North Carolina. I flew in last week. It was bananas, man. Shout out to the heavy hitters, man, that I was on this bill with, man. Sincere Convenet, Skilly Vanilli, and Coach Q, and too bad my man, who's my cousin as well, Eastside E. He's down in Florida. These are all New York groups that came from New York to Charlotte. So we threw down and performed, and that was the last gig that I had for that. For that month. But you can, catch me around, man. You can hit me on the Facebook joint, Dkompose, D-K-O-M-P-O-S-E. You can go there. You can hit the record label, as I mentioned. Twitter and Instagram, Dkompose25. So you can get me there as well. This social media, man, is off the chain.
Yep.
So.
And then also what we're going to do is we have Music Mondays. We're gonna have his song The Purge, and then the other one that we were talking about.
Hostile Takeover. Oh, you can check out the Hostile Takeover on videos out now on YouTube. So that's, go to Dkompose, D-K-O-M-P-O-S-E. Just punch that in or just say Hostile Takeover, Dkompose, and it'll pop up.
All right, and this is Furious. You just heard a little bit of, this is part one because we're going to have you back on. Part one of Dkompose. History of Dkompose, what motivates him to do music, and what he's doing in San Diego. And as always, D, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you, man.
Not a problem, man. And this is Furious signing off on Deeper Than Music Radio. Behind every great song, there's an even greater story. Dkompose, Furious, signing off. Thank you.
My man, thank you.